Turning a beloved character from hero to villain is a tricky challenge. Sometimes it's a jaw-dropping twist, other times it can piss off your entire fanbase. Still, looking back and seeing how Jade in Beyond Good and Evil 2 is now the villain, it got us thinking, in what other heroes' hearts could the seeds of evil lie? Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we'll be looking at some video game characters we secretly wish would turn evil.
Jade.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Evil for evil's sake is kind of boring after all, and villains are usually better if we can understand or even sympathize with their motivations. So for this video, we'll be examining some non-villainous characters from games we think could make excellent antagonists.
There'll be a lot of movement. Finding targets won't be easy. We'll need to stay sharp.
Toad, Mario series. Let's begin by looking at one of video games' most innocuous characters, Toad of the Mario series. Toad is Princess Peach's perennial retainer in the Mushroom Kingdom and shares his name and appearance with the rest of his short-statured species. While the cheerful, plucky attitude of the character may seem to preclude him from villainy, his happy disposition could be just a facade, hiding his deep-seated resentment at the one he serves. After all, Peach isn't a Toad, yet she rules the Mushroom Kingdom. We'd love to see Toad snap and maybe foment a rebellion against his non-fungus ruler. Plus, you can't tell us you haven't thought the little guy gets a little too much enjoyment out of lording things over everyone in Mario Party.
Oh yeah!
Miranda Lawson, Mass Effect series.
It wasn't Cerberus. Not really. But clearly you were a mistake.
From cute and cuddly, let's turn to a femme fatale. Miranda Lawson of the Mass Effect franchise has a definite element of danger about her, as she works for the shadowy Cerberus organization. However, although she believes in Cerberus's mission to create human supremacy in the galaxy, depending on the route taken, she's gradually won over to Shepard's cause. Yet, it could just as easily have gone another way, with Miranda holding more closely to the goals of Cerberus and its mysterious and charismatic leader, the Elusive Man. Seeing Miranda use her considerable, assets for more evil purposes and betraying Shepard could have made for a compelling narrative.
I never want to see you again, Nickette.
Done. Now, if you don't mind, I have a shipment to deliver.
You'll die for that, bitch!
Ridin, Metal Gear series.
A soldier and a philosopher. You are full of surprises, Mr. Lightning Bolt.
I could say the same about you, Mr. Prime Minister.
Speaking of characters with a dark side, the Metal Gear series has plenty of heroes with an edge. Our choice, though, has to go to Ridin. While this ninja began his time in the franchise as a relatively polarizing character, his recent redesign and solo game have turned him into a one-liner spouting anti-hero badass. As much as his edginess makes for a more compelling hero, we think his quippy attitude and history as a child soldier could make for an entertaining and sympathetic villain. Also, despite how overwhelmingly cool the stuff you can pull off while playing as him is, we're sure it would be absolutely diabolical to fight against. Admittedly, this may also be a road to disaster, since Hideo Kojima is no longer attached to the Metal Gear series, but it's still fun to speculate. Atreus God of War.
They knew everything that was going to happen. The dragon in the mountain, the stone mason.
Keeping things within families, let's talk about God of War. Kratos has enough rage and blood on his hands to be the villain of someone's story, but for our money, the more interesting character to see go evil would be his son, Atreus.
It's all you ever talk about, over and over. Do something about it or shut up, Brent.
Introduced in the latest game in the series, Atreus acts as his father's companion, while also learning more about his partial god heritage along the way. However, the latter causes Atreus to believe that his actions are justified because he's a god. Although Kratos corrects him, we could easily see the boy returning to this idea in future games and coming to oppose his father. Plus, the fact that his mother's people call him Loki is all kinds of foreshadowing to a turn toward the mischievous at the very least.
Loki. That's the name your mother wanted for you when you were born.
May, Overwatch.
Capturing the objective.
While we're on the subject of mischievous characters, May, or at least people who play as her, can be quite the irritants. Although she herself is adorable and arguably one of the nicest characters in Overwatch, Mei's abilities, which are centered around ice, frequently prove frustrating to fight against. However, we also have an idea for a motive should Blizzard decide to make a story mode. Because she's incredibly conscious about climate change, she could end up going full eco-terrorist in order to save the world by wiping out the most careless people on the planet. Just like Thanos, she wouldn't be entirely wrong either. It would raise some interesting moral dilemmas and make for an interesting storyline.
Rise and shine, Snowball! We're on our way!
Luigi, Mario series. First of all, no, we're not talking about his brainwashed persona Mr. L. We're talking villain by his own decision. Luigi is Mario's little brother, and despite being taller than him, always finds himself in his more famous sibling Shadow. The green-clad Mario brother has been written off for decades by fans, the characters, and even his own company as a joke. All that resentment at being underestimated could surely boil over into a truly villainous turn. We'd love to see Luigi prove himself a serious threat by fighting against his brother to show the world what he can really do.
You made it!
Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.